we are going to start the chapter that is the cell. Now we will discuss about first the organization of life. On your screen you can see a flow chart is made: cell, and then after that tissue, and then organ system, and finally the living organism. Now let's discuss about them in brief, and then we will discuss more in detail about the cell. Now, cell, it is the smallest unit that can carry out life activities, and it is present in plant and human being as well, or in the animals. Now, in plants, cells are present in the leaves, stem, flowers, and if we talk about in the human being, the whole body is covered with the cell. Even the organs which are there, they are also being made of the cells only. Or you can see it's very you can see these cells on your legs and face. So now the group of cells working together to form specific job, that we say it as tissue. Or you can say a group of similar cells dedicated to perform a specific function is called a tissue. Now these several tissues together form an organ. Now different organs are specialized to carry out different functions. Several organs join together to form an organ system, and lastly many organ systems join together to form a complete organism. So organism can be made up of one cell, we say it as unicellular, or many cells which combines an organ, and many cells we say it as multicellular. Okay? So by now you must have understood with the flow chart that all the organisms that are made up of tiny structures which are similar to each other, they are called a cell. Now the concept that all the living beings are made up of cells was explained as cell theory by the two scientists. And who were they? The Scledden and Schwann. And they stated that cells is the basic structural and the functional unit of all living forms or all living organisms. Now structural unit, as you can see, that it makes the body of an organism just like the bricks form a building, as you can see in the diagram. And about functional unit, it performs all the life processes such as respiration, excretion, then transportation, reproduction, metabolisms, nutrition. These all activities are very important for the survival of an organism, and this is what a cell do. And that is why together we say is that cell is the basic structural and the functional unit of all living organisms or forms. Now you must be thinking that who has discovered the cell, because they are so minute, they are so tiny that cannot be seen with the naked eye. So this discovery of cell is linked with the invention of microscope. Now the cell were discovered by Robert Hooke in the year 1665 when he observed a thin slice of cork under his microscope. And that microscope what you are seeing on your screen is not a normal microscope, it is the electron microscope of that time. And he noticed that the cork had large number of small boxes joined together and to form a honeycomb like structure, as you can see in the picture. Now Hooke called these little boxes cellulae. In English we say it as cells, and these were actually empty spaces surrounded by cellulose walls. Clear? Now so Robert Hooke had discovered the dead cells. Here Anton van Leeuwenhoek In 1670, a first person to observe cells that are alive. All right, he discovered the alive cells. He was looking at microscopic organism and found in the pond water these type of images which you can see just to the right side of the picture of Anton van Leeuwenhoek. You can see it. Different types of cells he noticed. Discuss the types of cells. As you can see on your screen that two types of cells are there, that is unicellular and multicellular. Now uni means single, cellular means cell, means single celled organisms, which if that they are formed of just one single cell. Many tiny plants and animals are unicellular. The examples are paramecium, amoeba, bacteria, and yeast. Now about multicellular. Multi means many. Cellular means cell. Those organisms which comprised of many cells, millions and billions, and our body is having almost trillion of cells, human body. So they are known as multicellular. The examples are insect, human body, plant body, and many more animals and plants. Let us discuss about multicellular and unicellular. Since we we understood from the last slide that the cells are of two types, all right, unicellular and multicellular, and let us discuss over here the difference between them. Multicellular, the cells are usually larger in size, and unicellular, they are usually smaller. Now, multicellular has specialized cells to perform specialized function, and here, since it is having no other option, so the cell perform all the functions. Multicellular live longer as compared to the unicellular, because unicellular lives have a very short span of life. Now the multicellular, here the cells perform movement, breathe, growth, reproduction, excretion, nutrition. Here the unicellular cell, a single cell, perform all these functions as well, like a multicellular. Here you can see the cell through microscope. The same way in unicellular you can see the cells through microscope. All cells come from the other cell. Here all cell come from the other cell. Means from the parent cell or mother cell. Now a mother divides two daughter cells. Alright, we say it as mitosis. Mitosis is generally other name is cell multiplication, which we say here as cell division, which is very important part. The cell division, what happens that if for example, if you peel a potato and you cut it through knife, a potato is cut into two parts. Now again these two parts you try to cut it into two parts. This way cell also divide, cell multiplication or mitosis happens, and it is in 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, and so on. This way the cell multiplies. Clear? Now in this slide you can see a unicellular organism structure, that is under a microscope how it looks like. Now the second image, a man who is around 6 feet and a man who is around 5 feet. Do you think that the man who is taller is having more big uh, cells as compared to the man who is having a smaller in size? No. Here, the cell, the size of the cell is the same, but the number of cells can be more in the taller person as compared to the smaller person. All right, and if you try to observe into the microscope, you will find that the size is around the size of a cell is measured in microns, and 1 micron is equals to 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 millimeter, which will be 0.001 millimeter. All right. Now, the smallest cell is a size will be, which you can see on your left of your screen, of a unicellular or bacterium. The size will be around a zero point 0.1 to 0.15 micron. All right. And in our body, blood cells are the smallest and the nerve cells are the longest. Clear? Now the RBC is around 7 micron in size and the nerve cells are around a meter long. And the egg of ostrich is around the small scale which you are carrying in your box, that is 15 centimeter, or it can go more than 15 centimeter in diameter. That is the largest cell, the egg of ostrich. So from this we can understand that the big organisms, or the big a person who is taller than the person who is shorter, it does not mean that they are having a bigger cell. The number of cells can be more, but not the size. Clear? Now let us discuss about the different types which are based on the different shapes. Now the first one is nerve cell. Nerve cells basically they are quite long and they are branched cells at their end. And as you can see in the figure which is there on the fourth column of the table, and here the function of nerve cell is to transmit message from brain to the other body parts. Clear? Now about the muscle cell. The muscle cells are spindle shaped cells with pointed ends, as you can see in the figure, and they helps to contract and relax. All right. Now about skin cells. They are flat in shape, as you can see in the figure, and the function is they enables them to cover a large area. Means they try to capture your body, even your outer skin. Outer skin is also being made up of the skin cells only, which you will be uh, study in your next class about the epithelial tissues and epithelial cells. So that part you will understand. For now, you should know that it helps to cover a large body area. Now, amoeba. Amoeba is an irregular shape, or we say it as dicotyl. Alright, dicotyl means irregular in shape, and they they can change its shape and form or their outgrowths for feeding and locomotion, and their movement is known as pseudopodia. Pseudo means false and podia means feet. Now about the RBC. RBC, the shape is a biconcave in shape, and they carry out maximum amount of oxygen into the body. These RBCs hold the hemoglobins, and these hemoglobins are containing the oxygens which provide oxygen to the cell. Clear? Now about the WBC. WBC is also irregular in shape, and they try to squeeze through the blood vessels. If they would have a definite shape, surely they cannot squeeze, they cannot enter into the blood cells. Clear? As you can see the diagrams just on the fourth column. Clear? Now, cell made up of what? A typical cell is made up of mainly three parts, that is nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. Now, a Apart from this, we should know about protoplasm as well. That protoplasm is a living matter of a cell, which includes nucleus, cytoplasm, and enclosed or it is covered or enclosed by cell membrane. Now, we will going to discuss about the first main part of in the structure of cell, that is cell membrane. A cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. It is a thin membrane which is present around the cytoplasm that we will be discussing afterwards, and it is generally, you can see that we have separated in two different organisms the structure and the microscopic view of the cell membrane. Now here the cell membrane, you can see that they are having a very thin and delicate and living membrane. They are very thin and delicate, and they they are present both in animals and in plant cell. And these cells are basically try to separate from cells from the other cells as well. And the next diagram which you are looking over there, it is like a mat. I am using the word mat over here. Here they are having very fine pores. If I try to zoom that part, so here from that pore only certain substances may enter or exit the cell. Clear? Selective substances here means water, food, nutrients, and oxygen. Clear? The exchange of gases, you can say. So these it is known as selective permeable membrane as well. Clear? What we have discussed before is a recap for you. The function of cell membrane. It is protective and a selective permeable membrane. Clear? Cell membrane. And secondly, it helps in the excretory and exchange of gases. Whichever things a cell wants to excrete, it excretes through the help of cell membrane. And even if it takes in and out or leave the gases as well. And the third point is that it gives a shape and it gives a size to a cell. Now we are going to discuss about the cell wall. And this cell wall is very important, which try to differentiate between plant and animal cell. Clear? These cell walls are made up of cellulose or carbohydrate. Now this carbohydrate is very important in plant because carbohydrate gives them energy to grow, and secondly it helps during it helps pollinators as well. Now how it helps in a pollinator, that these nectars which a flower is having during the pollination to attract the insects to come and suck the nectar, their taste are sweet, and this sweetness comes from the carbohydrate only. Clear? Now the second point, freely permeable to water and most solid. Now here it permits the free movement of all the substances through it. And what are the substances? That is the exchange of gases, excretion, not excretion, the exchange of gases, and the nutrients, food, water. So it allows free movement. They are present only in the plant cell. They gives a plant support, and they are basically and they maintain the cell turgidity, that we say as rigidity, firmness, and it also provide mechanical support. from the and it also protect from mechanical damage or if anything happens in the plant. So it is a protective layer of a plant. Clear? Let us discuss the most important part in a cell, that is nucleus. And this nucleus is present in animal and plant cell both. Clear? Now, in animal cell, you will find the nucleus is at the center, and in plant cell, the nucleus are at the periphery or at the border. Clear? Now, what else are there? You can see cell membrane, which we have discussed, cytoplasm, which we will be going to discuss, then the chloroplast and the vacuole size. Look, the vacuoles are very big here in size, covering most of the part in the cell of plant, and they are having cell wall, which is missing in the animal cell. This is a structure of a nucleus. Now, let us take the different slide. Let us discuss about the nucleus, which is a very important part of a cell because it controls all the activities of cell, and therefore it is called control center of the cell. Clear? Now we will discuss about the different parts of a cell. The first one is nuclear membrane, which is like a cell membrane. So it regulates what enter and leaves the nucleus. Clear? Or in somewhere you will find it written as nuclear envelope, in which the cell is being surrounded. Nucleus is being surrounded. Now about nucleoplasm. It is a jelly-like liquid which holds the content of nucleus. Clear? Now about the chromosomes. The nucleus contains a fine network fibrous material called as chromatin, and which chromatins they help in the cell division. Over there, when the cell divides, the chromatin condenses in thread-like structure and is called chromosomes, and they carry the genes from the parents to the children, to the next generation. Clear? Now these chromosomes, which are in every cell of human body, we are having 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, and the chromosomes are seen only during the cell division, and the number of chromosomes is different in different species. Clear? Now about nucleolus. It is a rounded body in the nucleoplasm, and it contains RNA, which we say it as ribonucleic acid, for the formation of ribosomes, which we will be going to discuss later. Now about nuclear pore. These nuclear pores are formed from the two nuclear membranes, and these membranes are having too many pores, and the substances are easily moved in and out of the nucleus through these pores. Clear? We are going to discuss about the functions of nucleus. As we have studied that nucleus controls all the activities of the cell, therefore it is called control center of the cell. So the first point is clear. Now regulate all activities. Now what type of activities? Growth. It is having metabolism activities, excretion, respiration, reproduction. So these all activities are being regulated by nucleus only in a cell. It helps in the growth of a cell. Now, it carries characters from parents to the offspring or to the children. We say it as genes, passing genes from parents to the children. It helps in the cell division. We have already discussed about the cell division, the cell multiplication, mitosis. So these are the function of nucleus. Let us discuss an activity to understand the shape of plant cell and the human cell. Now, what you have to do, the first one, where it is the onion peel cell, what you have to do is that cut an onion lengthwise into pieces and remove a fleshy leaf, and then try to put under the slide in the microscope and observe that it will be looking, as you can see on your screen, a brick shaped cell, isn't it? And they are having a cell wall, as you can see marked in the labeled diagram. And in that you can see a centrally placed vacuole where a thin layer of cytoplasm between the cell wall and vacuole is there. This way you will observe the onion peel cell. Now for the human cheek cell. Now what you do is that try to rinse your mouth and wash a toothpick or ice cream spoon or a matchstick. Gently scrap the inside of your cheek. Place the scraping in a slide and observe it. You will see a large number of scattered cells are seen, as you can see in the diagram, and each cheek cell is look irregular, dipolar in shape or irregular in shape. You can see that the nucleus is very darkly stained and it is at the center, and a thin plasma membrane surrounding the cell cytoplasm, as you can see in the diagram. This is the way to understand the human cell, which is taken from the cheek. We are going to discuss about cytoplasm. As you can see on your screen, a cytoplasm is a jelly-like semi-fluid substance which is in between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Clear? Now it contains up to 90% of water, and in 10% it contains carbohydrate, protein, fat and mineral salts. Clear? Now the function of a cytoplasm is, the first is it maintains the shape of a cell. Clear? The second one, it provides cell movement, and the cytoplasm helps in the material exchanges. Material exchanges like food, water and the carbohydrate. Now many cell activities or the functions take place in cytoplasm only. Cytoplasm contains cell organelles that are mitochondria, Golgi, lysomes, vacuoles, plastids, and endoplasmic reticulum. They are the organelles which is contained in cytoplasm. Let us discuss about the cell organelles, which is very important part in the cell. So here in the diagram you can see the proper labeling which is there. Let's know the mitochondria and the function of it. Mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. Why? Because it helps in respiration and it releases energy as well. Alright? And this mitochondria is generally, if you look the structure, they are generally having a double layered membrane which is having respiratory enzymes for the site of respiration. Now about endoplasmic reticulum. In short, it is written as ER. Now, it is a network of membrane, clear, which gives support and it helps the transport of substances within the cell. Now you are knowing what are the substances. Now about the Golgi complex. Now this Golgi is having vacuoles and some tubes, and they helps in the secretion and the storage, clear, of what? Secretion and storage of protein. Now about the plastids. Plastids helps in the food production and they are present only in plant cell. Lysosomes are known as the suicide bag and they are present only in the animal cell, which contains tissues, which in that tissues which helps in dissolving enzymes which can dissolve or digest. All right, now it helps in digestion and worn out parts of the cell. Now about ribosomes. Ribosomes, they are scattered in the cytoplasm and they are attached with the endoplasmic reticulum, as you can see. Now these ribosomes, they are the protein factory of a cell. Now about the vacuoles. The vacuoles are present, firstly it is present in animal and plant cell. They are sac-like structure which is filled with water and liquid substances, and it can be a waste material as well. It also contains pigments as well. Now these vacuoles can be these vacuoles, the size depends on animal and plant cells. So vacuoles are generally small in size and few in number in animal cells, but large in size, and it can be single or more than single in the plant cell. Clear? The We have already discussed a little bit about the vacuoles in the cell organelles. Let us discuss more in detail. Now, the vacuoles are the storage bubbles found in the cell, as you can see in the diagram, and they are found in both animal and plant cell, which are larger in plant cell. I mean, the size of vacuole is bigger in plant cell as compared to the animal cell, and these vacuole stores food, nutrient and waste products. So the rest of the cell is protected from contamination. And one more thing is that whenever a cell require, they sometimes supply these essential nutrients that is food to the cell or even water whenever it is required. As the diagram is there, you can see the size of the vacuole for animal and plant cell. Now about plastids. Plastid was derived from the Greek word that is plasticas, we meaning formed or molded or changed. And this term was coined, this term was introduced by Skimpel in 1885. In plants, plastids may differentiate into several forms depending upon which function they need to play in the cell. The plastids are broadly classified into two main types, namely chromoplast and leucoplast, and one more is there, that is chloroplast. Let us discuss about the different types of plastids based on color. The first one, chromoplast. Now here the chromoplast gives yellow, orange or red color to a plant other than green. Now the function of chromoplast, it provides color to the flower, fruits and vegetable. Clear? Now about chloroplast. They are generally green in color and which gives green color to a plant, and they help in the manufacturing of food by the process of photosynthesis, and that is why they are known as kitchen of the cell. Clear? Now about the leucoplast. They are colorless and the function, it stores food as starch and protein, and you can find it in the storage cell of roots and underground stems such as potato. Now you can see on your screen the two types of cell which is there, and the first is the animal cell and the plant cell. Here you can see whatever we have discussed. It's a summary over here. You can see the shape of vacuoles, the structure of the cell, and you can see how the nucleus is being located, at what place it is there. You can see different vacuoles, and the cell organelles are there. So this is the structure of animal and plant cell. We have discussed each part separately. Now it will be easy for you to differentiate between the plant and the animal cell. The difference between plant and animal cells. Now the cell wall. In plant cell, cell walls are present but not in animal cell. Plastids present in plant cell but absent in animal cell. Vacuoles can be one or two, and they are of a larger size as compared to the animal cells, where their animal cells can have or missing the vacuoles, and if they are few in numbers and small in size. Nucleus are generally located at the boundary, but or the periphery, and in animal cell they are located just at the center. Now the stored foods. Now stored food. So a plant cell, it stores food in the form of starch, and animal as glycogen. And whenever a body requires a carbohydrate or glucose, these glycogen turns into that. And with this, your explanation part is over. You all have understood it well with the images which I have shared, and the topics which has been discussed. Now it will be easy for you to understand the cell for now. Thank you.